Hi everyone, welcome to Knitmas Day 10. I have a few different things planned for this video. Mostly I want to update you on my holiday knitting. I also want to share my favorite knitting vlogmases. I know it's a little late in the month to share that, but these are all creators who make great content all times of the year, and I just want to shout them out if you are not already following them. I also want to share some of my favorite holiday recipes. I put that in air quotes because they're not necessarily like holiday themed, but they are recipes that I tend to make every year and usually just once a year, and they kind of remind me of the holiday season. So today is Saturday, it's the afternoon. We are gonna head out to a party in just a few minutes, but I'm thinking tomorrow I will set aside some time to do some baking and make some of those recipes that I like to make each year. Usually we spend a weekend before Christmas baking a ton of baked goods for our friends and family, and then we spend the next day delivering those baked goods. This year, we just have not had the time to do that, and I don't think tomorrow is going to be a good time for that for my partner, so I'm not sure if we'll get to that this year, but that is something that we typically do. We have this huge baking day and I'll bake a bunch of cookies and he makes fudge and some other candy, and it's just a really nice thing that we like to do. But if we don't get around to it this year, I will just spend that time making some other yummy things. So 2 projects that I want to show you right now. First are my Christmas socks that I'm knitting for myself. I have made it through the heel and I'm working on the foot, and I'm about an inch away from starting the toe. So this sock is very close, and I'll immediately cast on the second sock. I'm knitting these from a Tiny Human Knits sock set. This was from 2023 and it's in the colorway Season's Greetings. And this is one of those not right but still good versions of the colorway, and I think it's great. I knit the heel out of the contrast mini skein, and so I'll do the same for the toe. The other socks that I'm knitting are out of this Lang Super Socks. This is in the colorway Party Mix, and these are a Christmas gift for my partner. So these are also cuffed down. I'm using the same reverse fleagle heel pattern, and I have made it through the heel. Well, almost. I'm working on the gusset decreases, and I'm just about done with those. I'm in the middle of that round, but yeah, I think they're looking good. I like the leg length. These I'm a little less confident about finishing before Christmas Day, but I'm gonna do my best. And I think the next few days are going to be me locking in on these and trying to crank them out because I would really like to finish them, and they're quite fun to work on. I'm just knitting a 2x2 rib, and then for the heel, so I knit the heel flap and turn, like this triangle here, in stockinette, and then I'm knitting the rest of the heel gusset in the rib, and I think I like how that looks. I had charted out several different options, including carrying the rib down this area, and I tried those out and they just didn't quite look right. Like they worked on paper on my graph, but they just didn't look very good when I actually knit it up. So I just settled on keeping this part of the heel in stockinette, and I think it looks nice. That is the way the DRK Everyday socks are written, and I've made those quite a few times, and I always like them. So now I'm just working the rest of the heel, then I'll be working the foot, and the foot is gonna be like this long. So they're gonna take me a while, but like I said, I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna get these done. I'm gonna try to. If you watch my last video, I just hit a milestone on my pitch cardigan, my very long-term whip. I am probably going to put that down for now and focus on some other projects that I think I might actually be able to get close to finishing before the end of the year. It is a very rainy Sunday, and it's finally time for me to tell you about the vlogmases and content creators that I've been watching this month. And I'm going to do so while I work on my Christmas sock. First up, we have the Vlogmas Queens. These are people who vlog every December, who put out pretty much daily vlogs and really commit to the bit with Vlogmas, and they have very knitting and crafting heavy vlogmases. And also all three of these people have beautiful homes, beautiful Christmas decorations, and they just put a lot of effort into their content every December. And I never miss a video from any of them, and you've probably heard of them already. But first is M to the Third. Mackenzie works at a yarn store in Portland, Oregon. She also naturally dyes yarn, and her life is just very like knitting and yarn focused, and she manages to capture it in a way that is like a little bit romanticized but very genuine and real. And yeah, I love her videos. She's always working on very inspiring projects. I love her sense of color and just the patterns that she chooses to knit and what she makes. Next is the Botanical Knitter. Emily also puts out a daily vlog, and she is constantly going out with like knitting friends and just doing like crafting related things. I am impressed by how much she's able to do and film every single day. Anyone who puts out daily Vlogmas content falls under that category to me. I don't know how they do it, but Emily is just a very thoughtful person who I love listening to anything she has to say. She makes such interesting projects and is always kind of like doing something a little bit different. Like she will knit and then she'll sew and then she'll spin, and I really like seeing all of the crafts. Plus, living in Minnesota, they are getting a lot of snow right now, and I love seeing the snow content because we have a distinct lack of it. It's making me sad, so anytime I need some snow content, I watch her videos. And next is the Copycat Stitch. I watch her Vlogmas every year, and I love her content. It's very knitting and crafting focused. In the past, she's spent a lot of time knitting gifts for like everyone in her family. I think this year she is taking a step back from that, but still knitting some gifts, and her content is just very cozy and very heavy on like the Christmas vibes. Her pets are adorable, and she just puts out really good quality content. I also have to shout out Sarah Seams. I was watching her in a video at the start of Knitmas, and she has become a must-watch for me. I have not missed any of her Vlogmases. She'll put out like 3 days in one video, which I think is a really nice format, and it kind of helps each video have a little bit more to it, especially if you have like a busier day as a creator and you don't have as much to share. But her content is great. She has been doing so many different projects. I think that is something that she does every year, but she just is working on like different Advent projects and kind of has like daily stuff to show. Throughout the year, she made socks for herself and didn't wear them, and then is like gifting herself a pair of socks. She's working on a gorgeous colorwork sweater using like a gradient Advent set. She is working on socks where her followers are voting what color to put in next. She's working on a spinning Advent. She's just doing a lot of like daily projects that kind of make me wish that I had planned a little bit better and had some more like projects related to Vlogmas going. But anyway, I'm really happy to be watching her content, and thank you to a commenter who said that you were watching her, because that is how I found her channel. Another newish creator to me is by Fiona. I think I found her content last year, but she does Vlogmas on shorts, which I think is such a good way to do it. It's much lower stakes, I think, than like putting out a full-length video every single day. And she lives and works in New York City, and just kind of shares like what her life looks like as a 20-something living in a big city who is also like trying to kind of do content creation on the side. And she is a knitter, so she puts out knitting content as well. But she just is very like relatable as a creator to me. Not relatable in that like we're doing the same things, because unfortunately I don't live in New York City, but relatable in that she just shares a lot of somewhat like unfiltered thoughts, you know, just kind of some thoughts about life in your 20s and trying to figure everything out and trying to like do it all without burning out. She's also like very social. She's just like out doing stuff and is vlogging it, and I think it's so interesting. If you're into spinning content, Melly Knits does live streams every December where she talks about how she put together her spinning advents. And I think they're so fascinating to learn about what goes into that and how, you know, how she does it. It seems like a ton of work. And one year I would love to purchase one of her spinning advents. Knitting with Ev is another great knitting and spinning channel. She is doing weekly vlogs where she updates every day on camera and then uploads that video at the end of the week. She's doing several advents. One is a knitting advent and the other is the Melly Knits spinning advent. So if you want to see what that looks like, I think her videos are great to watch. So I'm editing this video and my mic cut out here, but if you are not already following Tashi at Stitches in Starlight, you should be. They create a lot of spinning content, so if you want to know more about spinning, they're a great channel to watch. They do sit and spins during Vlogmas, so those are always fascinating just to hear Tashi's thoughts on everything, but also they're so knowledgeable about spinning and are happy to share all of that knowledge. They've also been filming some vlogs this year, and they live in New York City, so they're just so much fun to watch. As far as other content that I have been enjoying this month, one is Bethany Glover. She lives in the UK. I believe she works in the sewing industry, and so she puts out sewing content as well as knitting content, and she's great about documenting her projects and just kind of talking through like everything that she's thinking while she's making decisions, which I love to watch. She recently made the Connie tree skirt by Sydney Graham, which I also made this month, and I found that so illuminating to watch her process because she's much more experienced at sewing than I am. So that was really fun to watch after I had sewed that project. Yeji is another creator who I have fairly recently started watching. Her output is insane. She knits so much and she is a very skilled knitter. She's another one of those creators who really talks through her process as she's making things, which I love to watch. And she just put out a Christmas project video a couple of weeks ago, which was very festive. She made quite a few things in that video, including gorgeous stockings. I am mind blown by what she's able to create and how quickly she's able to knit things. Jack in the Attic is a little bit of a bigger creator, so you may have heard of her already, but I really like her content. She posts a lot about goth knitting, and she also will film vlogs every now and then, mostly related to the projects that she's working on. She knits and she spins. She just posted a vlog that I want to go catch up on. But yeah, her content is great. And then two non-knitting related channels that I really enjoy and I want to shout out. The first is Sid Bookworm. She is a book channel and she does a lot of reading vlogs as well as some other bookish content. This year she wrapped some of the books that are on her TBR and she is like spinning a wheel to randomly select which book she's going to read next. So it's very fun content. The second is Chelsea Callahan. She is another New York City creator and she vlogs her life. She's currently getting her second undergraduate degree and is just documenting what that's like, as I think she's in her like early to mid 30s, living alone, has 2 cats, and she just puts out very like relatable content. She's really good at storytelling through her vlogs and creating content that's always interesting to watch on a weekly basis. I am making one of my favorite cookie recipes. It's from Smitten Kitchen. They are called confetti cookies, and they are basically just like a really good sugar cookie recipe. And then you roll the dough in these rainbow sprinkles. It's one of those doughs where you put both vanilla and almond extract, which is one of my favorites. And there's a little bit of cream cheese in the dough as well. So it's a little bit tangy, very rich, and it's just one of my favorites. Just finished the last batch of cookies. The question for this video is very appropriate because it is, what is your favorite holiday cookie? So obviously I love the confetti cookies. Another holiday cookie I love are molasses cookies. I make those every year and those are usually the ones that I give away. I mean, I keep some for myself too, but I make like 3 or 4 batches and give those away because everybody loves those and it's definitely one of my favorite cookies. I like the recipe by Sally's Baking. I love to bake cookies this time of the year, so let me know your favorites. Other cookies that we like to make around Christmas are chocolate crinkle cookies, also snowball cookies. I haven't made those in a couple years, so I might have to make those this year. We also really like to make fudge, both chocolate fudge, and there is an excellent peanut butter fudge recipe by Alton Brown, and it's very simple. You make it in the microwave. It is way less finicky than traditional chocolate fudge, and it's also been a while since I've made that, so I think I have to make that this year. We have a few other recipes we like to make every year that you might see if we end up making those this year. But thanks for hanging out for Knitmas, and I will be posting 2 more videos. Can't believe it's almost over. I think they're going to be pretty low-key, pretty cozy. I did get a little bit behind on my Knitmas schedule. I just needed an extra day. So from here on out, I'm just going to kind of resume my schedule or something close to it. I don't know. I'm off work. I don't know what day it is, to be honest. But I will keep putting out the last 2 videos of Knitmas. They'll probably be after Christmas, or at least the last one will be, because now I actually have time to work on my projects and film. So it kind of makes sense that it worked out that way, because leading up to taking a break is always just chaotic at work. But yeah, now I get to knit. But now I think I'm finally in the mood for some Christmas movies, so that is probably going to happen in the next video. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.